So when a customer in New England says, I have a big Douglas fir log from my backyard for you to mill, your first instinct is, no, you don't. We don't have Douglas fir. So welcome back to Sawmill, everybody. My name is Bill with Pirate Solutions Forestry. If you hear some loud raving noises in the background, that's Ralph Alfieri over there, clearing my neighbor's backyard out, the forest, so that he can put a barn in. So Ralph's working over there. They got to be on day 3, I think. It's a pretty big clearing job. And all those logs, or the saw logs that they take out of the trees they've taken down, and I understand there's ash, white oak, there's some cedar. I would imagine there's some red oak too. Probably some maples. All those saw logs are going to get sawed by us for my neighbor when he needs something. So he's going to actually keep a pile of saw logs just over our barbed wire fence out there, and I can go grab them when he wants them. So he'll just call me up and say, hey, can you cut me some 2x12s out of oak or whatever. But there's going to be noise in the background. This is a pretty good sized Douglas fir from 2 houses down that way. My friend Lloyd. He's got a beautiful house, beautiful yard, beautiful shop. And he called me up to mill these logs for him so he could do walls inside his shop out of Douglas fir. I said, well, it's not Douglas fir. It's got to be something else. He said, no, well, they're telling me it's a Douglas fir. So I went down there the day they cut it, and sure enough, it's a Douglas fir. I've actually already dropped off the boards from the first log. If you didn't watch the earlier video, which, by the way, doesn't exist yet if you're watching me right now, because I haven't edited it and put it up yet. But there is going to be another video up before this one. You can go ahead and watch that one, see the boards we get out of that. They were almost just about 11 inches wide. I want to say we got 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around 15, and I have some edgings to do over here. This one's bigger. This one's a good sized log, and it does have a pith check right through the pith, just like that I have to get this log turned a little bit. I'll tell you some dimensions on it. I think it's 18 on the small end here inside the bark. It's 18 and a half. So this is going to cant out at just over 12 inches. It's only 16 high, so it's a little bit of a oval. It's going to cant out about 12 inches. And the decisions that I have to make are, am I going to give him he wants everything at 4/4. Am I going to give him 1x12s? And I think the answer to that is yes. I am going to try to roll this log and get that pith check completely horizontal. In the other log, the checks were diagonal like this, and I decided to get one of them parallel that would cut out in the middle of the log in one board, and the other one was a pretty good check. So it probably went into the boards about this far. It might continue down them when a few of them dry. And if they do, he's going to end up with like a 4 and a 6. And so he'll run them on his table saw and have to cut out a 1x6 and a 1x4. Yeah, he's going to need trim for the windows and around the bases of the walls and things like that anyway. So that's why he wanted them as big as he possibly could get them. So this one is just over, it looks like it's about 9 feet long. Fits on this thing perfect. I'm going to try to roll it a little bit, get that horizontal, and then we'll see if we can cut this apart. This will be the last log I do today. I only have a couple of small ones to do for him for tomorrow, but let's see if we can get it rolled and actually give you guys a view over here. And you guys do me a favor. When that thing right there gets horizontal, yell at me. It's got all the weight down here, which is going to make it hard for this thing to want to turn it. I got to go a little bit more. See that? You guys should have told me that. That looks pretty good right there. So we'll give it a measurement. I'm going to put it down and give a couple of measurements and make sure that it's kind of in the right spot. Let's just see what the top of the log looks like. And it's about 23 here. Yeah, it's about 23 here. So it's pretty good right where it is. So I think I'll get you guys a good view. We'll take the top off it. And this might be a little challenging to roll just because it's got so much more weight down there. This would roll better if the log was spun around. But I think we'll be able to get it as long as I can figure out how to help it with the clamp. We're running Pine Allen, and you can get at Home Depot, and Ajax for solvent. Let's see, we'll be somewhere up around 21-ish. Let's go see where we're at. We are nowhere near clear right now. It's a big log. It's going to take about all my throat clearance here to get through. I'm going to go to 22. Doesn't look horrible right here. I think we'll go ahead and try it. Not a lot of good sawdust action on that cut because it was mostly bark. It's not even reasonable to take a board at this point. Wow. Not even reasonable to take a board at this point. So we're going to come back. We're going to drop down an inch. See if we can get a cleaner face on the top. Hopefully we're clear to do it. This is one of those times too where you're going to want to adjust your blade guide during the cut, because you're starting out so wide, it's going to want to go all over the place. So as I get in where I have more clearance, I'm going to push my blade guide, my adjustable guide in. And try to keep as much support on this hand as I can, or it's going to wave all over the place on this cut. This is a junk flitch. It's mostly bark. At least it will stay together. Okay, now we got one that we can get a board out of. So we're going to see if we can take one more. If we have clearance to take one more, I'm going to take it right now. Get as much weight off this as we can before we try to flip it. So we are at 21. I'm going to drop down to 19 7/8. See if I can get a 1 inch 4/4 flitch off this. And then we'll flip it. That's 19 7/8. I am not clear. And clear now. Let's try it. And we'll get this flitch off. This will create a nice board. cut relatively flat, pretty much perfectly flat actually. I'll give you guys a look at the inside of this because it is pretty wood. And then we're going to start going to spinning here, and hopefully we can do it because, like I said, all the weight, I would have been smarter to put the big end down there so that it was closer to the turner. So that's kind of a pain in the ass now because it's going to want to pick this up, and instead of turning, the turner's going to just pull it this way. So I have to keep using the clamp to get it to spin because the other end's so heavy. The other end's so heavy that it's going to want to sit on the cross bunk there. Ooh, and I see I did some damage to my cross bunk. Not with this, with something else. With the roller toe board. Not hit my knees on the flippy stop things. Pretty wood. These are going to be beautiful wall boards. Look at the damage. My roller toe board came up and caught under my cover there and blew it up. It bent it out. I have to figure that out. I wonder if it raised it up. I might have to pull this log off the mill. You know what? I am going to pull the log off the mill. What I'm going to do, I got to fix that because that's not good. So that's got to be beat back in, and I got to make sure it's not high or it will create an uneven surface there. That stinks. That's not good. And when I put this thing back on the mill, I'm going to put it on the mill the other direction. So I'm going to get back with you guys in a minute. I'm going to go dump that slab wood, get this thing pulled off, and then we'll go to repairing that. That sucks. I'll show you what happened here. This roller toe board, when it came up, it caught the lip on my stainless steel rub rail here, and it bent the crap out of it. Right now, I really can't. I would have to force it through it to put it up. So this is going to come off. I brought my rail down from my end bunk down there. So we're going to put this one back on. And I'm going to raise up that roller toe board, and I'm going to grind a chamfer on it so it doesn't do it again. Whistle while I work. I can't even, unfortunately right now, I can't even raise the toe board. Hopefully there's enough battery in this to do this. This is only like 80 grit. That should make it so it can't happen again. Now we can put it back down. And we'll put the other one on. Hopefully never have that problem again. All right. So that catastrophe has been averted. I'm going to pause you guys. I'll show you the log on the way to putting you back in a place where you can watch. So what I did was I set the log up on my bucket like that so I can grab it from the other side so I can get the fat end down where the turner is. But for right now, I'm going to pause you guys and we'll get it up on the mill and start over. All right, so we got it back on here and we're going to take this top off. Now that I got the heavy end down there, it should make it spinning it a little easier. And we got that fixed. We're back in business. And that chamfer should keep that from ever happening again. I made that chamfer thicker than the piece of metal that it would have to run into. So it should ride out regardless of what's happening. So let's get this thing, try and take this thing apart now. Whoa, that thing's way up there. All right, so let's see whereabouts we are. That's at 16. Well, let's go ahead and take a cutoff right there to get this thing cleaned up. This might be a little bit heavy of a slab cut. Believe me, there's nothing in it, so I know it's going to look huge, but it's not. I mean, I'm only about 4 inches wide of face and maybe 6 here. We'll take 1 flitch off it too. So that was at 16. We're going to come down and take one at 14 and 7/8. We could probably get a board out of that. And then we'll stand her up on her side. So when I tell you this is going to come out just over 12 as far as the cant goes, you know, that's just math. And we'll get this 1 flitch cut off. Should be throwing them in there. I'm not used to it yet. Someday when I grow up. All right, well, this is going to be a heavy stand up here. And I'm definitely going to have to raise that end up to try to get it somewhat in the middle of the cutting cone here. The cutting cone's just, if you think of this end as bigger and that this log is a cone like that, you just want to get that end centered. You don't want the top to be even when you pick that up. You want it to split the difference. So if it's 3 inches low, you want to come up 1.5 inches so that the point of the cone is right in the center, if that makes sense. So let's get her raised up. See if we can flip her on her side. All right, we're going to have to hold it here for a second while I get a measurement and figure out how much I have to come up. It's going to be about 1 inch, I think. But let's just say, let's call this 21. This is about 25. So about 2 inches we got to come up. And let's clamp it with the manual clamp too. Okay, that should be good. We can actually leave the log loader the log turner right there. And let's try to get top cleaned up. Come down at 20. We're going to take it right at 20. It's going to be a little fat down the other end, but there's not much down this end. Nice. All right. There's nothing in the middle of this. The butt swell looks big, but it's nothing in the middle. And you can, I don't know if you guys can still see all the wane here. There's nothing in the middle of that. So we are at 20 inches. We're going to come down to 18 7/8. We're going to take a 1-inch flitch. Then we can flip it over. 18 7/8. You see if we can get this whole thing flipped over, all the way over. We're kind of gonna be, I gotta look at what I got for wane on the other side. I kind of need to skim this side too. So we're just gonna have to take it as we get it. We'll have to clean up the top. Probably, I might have to spin this a couple times. I should have taken more off of this side. Let's see how wide I am, and that will tell me the tail or the tape here. This is wider than 12. I think it's 14 and something. Yeah, it's almost 15. It's 14 7/8. If I was 12, all this wane would be gone. This should clean up somewhere around 12, and then we're probably got to flip it again and clean it up at 12. We'll see what the wane looks like. We don't know which direction we're going to take this down in right now. If I clean this up to 12 on the side here, I could flip it up and then just mill it out, and that'll put that horizontal crack sideways. That's what I need to do. We're going to come down to 12. Let's do this. Let's come down to 12. Your mega mark. See what I got above that. I'm going to go up to 13 1/8. Mega mark. And 14 1/4. All right, so that's what we're going to do. You take 3 cuts off this side. Go back, we're going to drop down to 12, take it off right there. Let's see if we can drop these in the cradle. That worked perfect. Came out nice and square. Now what I have is I have my check perfectly sideways, and I don't know where we are for scale, but we're going to figure that out. And we're going to make our waist cut for scale on the top, which means we're going to scale off the bottom of the log. So when we finish, we'll have a 1-inch board, and all our waist cuts will be on the top. All right, so it is going to be a little dinky skim cut, and then we drop on 4/4 scale. And I'll show you this. This is how you know that you're cutting nice and square and everything. Hopefully you guys can see how square that 1/4-inch cut is right there. With all those flips and everything, that's cutting pretty good. All right, that one's 13 3/8. That's that 12 1/4. We're going to smoke 2, drop to 11 1/8. Go right back, rip it back, drop to 10. We're going to rip it back and drop down to 8 7/8. Rip it back, we're going to drop down to 7 3/4, and then we can take the boards off because we'll have clearance to cut the rest of the log. Look at that thing ride right back up on that log. Oh, it's so beautiful. These Stella Cup bands are so good. Okay, next drops down to 6 5/8. Next drop should be to 4 3/8. Next drop should be to 3 1/4, then 2 1/8, then 1. 3 1/4, and have just enough solvent. I use a pretty good amount of solvent on this one, but my blade's perfectly clean cutting this sticky wood. 2 1/8. Clear off my sawdust, we'll dump it to 1 and make our last cut. And that's all she wrote. We got a nice pile of 1x12s. We got some stuff to edge off tomorrow. We've only got 2 little logs to do tomorrow, and then a bunch of edging. So yeah, that came out good. Cut really super flat. I don't know if I can show it to you or not. I don't know if you can see how consistent those lines are. I don't know if I could get one turned and you could get you to look down an edge. This is what you get when you cut with Stella Cut, though. There's not a wave, other than it's bowing right now because I'm holding it up. There's not a wave in it. It's perfect, crisp, clean corner all the way down. There are no waves, nothing, 0 waves. It came out beautiful. The only thing I've seen twice now is I've seen this check in the middle. And that's not a pith check, guys. It's like a wind shake or something like that in the tree. We were beyond, we had already cut past the pith. I'll actually piss in this piece. Piss in that piece so I can see it. This will be beautiful siding boards. You can see we got all the other ones captured in the cradle there. We'll dump those back up. I will probably give him those 2 wide ones just the way they are, so he can edge them down however he wants rather than cut them. And then if they cracked in the middle, it'd be dumb if I did that. where he might be able to get an 8-inch wide board instead of a, you know, something else if I edge it down. We'll see. I'll pull after I unload the other ones. I'll see how they look. So that's pretty much it for today. I gotta get the saw head cleaned out. That Stella cut band still cutting beautiful. It's just amazing. Those bands are incredible. I can't wait to only be running those. I'll get all this cleaned up, get the mill blown off, get it put away for the night. No rain tonight. I think we might get some rain over the weekend. So finish those 2 logs tomorrow and get our edgings edged off. We'll get it all to them, and nice little $400 job or so. I guess if I figure my time to run back and forth with the Bobcat and dropping his boards off to him, it could be 4 hours, but I'm going to have about an hour in the first log, an hour in the second log, actual cutting time, and probably 1 hour total on those other 2, I think. I had kind of figured somewhere around 3 hours to cut them all, but went great. Beautiful wood. I hope they dry nice for him. I really, really do. He's going to have to keep some weight on him, and especially when you get him this wide. I think I'd rather have him in 6s, but I just don't trust some of that wind shake in this tree. I wouldn't cut him at 6s and then lose parts where maybe I could cut a 6 and a 4 and cut the wind shake out of it. I don't know. We'll have to see how they dry, but he's going to get a nice chunk of wood out of it, and he already knows. They had a couple cracks in the other boards. He already knows that that's a possibility, and he's like, I'm just nailing them up. I don't care. So good time. Thank you for the watch, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Hit me up with any questions if you want. And for now, once again, Pirate Solutions out.